Welcome back to the Way of Truth Tarot. My name is Mandy, and today's reading is going to be about the Delphi case. For those of you who are not familiar, on February 13th, 2017, two best friends had a day off from school. It was unseasonably warm, so they went for a walk in this nature preserve in the town of Delphi, Indiana. Very small community, population 3,000 approximately. And lots of people were out that day. As I said before, it was unseasonably warm. And the girls walked across this bridge that was kind of like a rite of passage amongst the young people. It's a 60-foot high old railroad bridge that's no longer being used. Hasn't been used since the 80s. And it's rickety, it's dangerous, and anyhow, they didn't show up for their pickup time, which was a couple hours after they were dropped off. So a search happened. And the next day, on Valentine's Day, at approximately noon, their bodies were found in that same nature reserve, not too far from where the bridge was. And they were found in a very strange setup, almost ritualistic. And both girls' throats were slit. Richard Allen was charged in 2022 with the murders. No DNA evidence linked him. I followed the trial closely. It just happened. In fact, he was sentenced on Friday to 130 years in prison. But honestly, I followed the trial and I don't believe he did it. It was a botched investigation, and there's a lot of weird things that are surrounding the case. And there is new revelations coming out that make this whole situation way stranger than it already is. So I've decided that after hearing these revelations, and I'm not going to get into them right now. Honestly, if you watching, you're not familiar with this case, if you have an interest in being familiar with this case, I would suggest doing some research, because it's pretty crazy, to say the least. And, make your own judgment. I'm very curious. I want to look into this with the tarot. I have not yet. But since these new revelations that I'm talking about have come out, I really just want to use my cards on this. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm starting right from scratch. I'm starting this not from the revelations that I just found out. I'm starting right from the beginning. So if you're not familiar, I suggest watch this video, because I'm going to start from the beginning, and then afterwards do some research. And then, before I get started too, this is just an energy reading. And it's my opinion based on the energy of the cards. No more, no less. So always do your own research. Yeah. Can't stress that enough. So, that being said, I'm going to get started with the tarot reading. Everything in it is alleged, in my opinion, based on the energy of the cards. And yeah. So in this reading, I'm going to be pulling from my tarot deck. I'm going to be using the Whispers of the Unsolved True Crime deck. I'm also using another Oracle True Crime deck that I actually haven't used in a while. And I'll just give you an example of the cards. So, killer may be currently in prison for another crime. In the future, the killer may admit guilt. Stuff like that. And another deck I'll be pulling from is called Heart's Hidden Secrets. And it's got cards like this, where it says shallow and then a few keywords. We have one that's called conflict. And it's got more keywords. So just situations of varying subject matters. I haven't used this deck in a while, but I felt that maybe it might come in useful. I can't talk today. It might be useful for this reading. So, without further ado, let's get started. This is, I'm going to start with the 24 hours before the crime took place. And I'm going to start it from the point of view of first Abby, Libby, as well as the perpetrator's point of view, the 24 hours before the crime took place, as well as the man convicted for the crimes, Richard Allen. I want to see what his 24 hours before he went to that park on that day were like. All right, and depending on how long this part of the reading will be, I might get it, go into the second part, or if it's too long, I'll do a part 2. All right. Start with some tarot. Let's do these. Okay, so this is the 24 hours before the crime took place. And this is Abby's point of view. So what was Abby up to? What was she feeling? What was she thinking? Allegedly, before the crime took place. I'm going to do rows of 4 or 5 cards, depending on how many come out. All right. I've pre-shuffled, but I'll just do another quick shuffle on screen for you. All right. That was a pretty pathetic shuffle. Okay. Give me 4 or 5 cards that explain what Abby was feeling, doing. First row is from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then the second row is going to be from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. Okay, we have Judgment upright. King of Wands upright. Hierophant upright. Page of Wands upright. And I need to get another card, I feel. The Devil upright. Okay. She was evaluating something. She was in deep thought. And she was charmed by the King of Wands. This is a very charming person. Someone that is got the energy of being like a natural born leader. And they're very bold. Almost, you know, influence. I'm getting like the feeling like she's being influenced by somebody that's like persuading her to do something that wouldn't naturally be an idea that she would come up with herself, kind of thing. And with the Hierophant, this is about belief systems. This is about spiritual belief systems. Now, typically it's like conventional belief systems like religion, but it doesn't have to be. It can easily represent another form of spiritualism that is not conventional. And with the King of Wands and the Hierophant beside each other, it's almost like this charming person is trying to educate her on their belief system. That's what I get with these two cards. And the Page of Wands, this is Abby, right? She's younger than this King of Wands. She's very innocent, but she's a young spirit and she wants to discover things, you know, and then the Devil, this is attachments. This is unhealthy attachments. Toxic energy. This is giving me the feeling of like wolves hiding in sheep's clothes. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to ask another question. What were these two discussing? We've got strength upright. What were these two discussing regarding the religion? Ace of Swords upright. Ten of Wands upright. Page of Swords upright under the Page of Wands. Interesting. The Fool upright. And that's under the Devil. So in my reading, when I read personally, when I do rows of cards, whether they're 4 or 5, 6 cards, doesn't matter how many. When I do the second row and one card ends up being underneath another one, it's strange how it always works out, but and I don't know how to explain. It's just how it works out. Yeah, I'm not sure how. But the way it works out is the card underneath has direct relation to the card above it. So, sorry, dropped a card. That's why I say it's interesting, because it never fails that they always have something to do with each other, like in a very specific way. Okay. So I asked the question, what were they discussing about the religion? Like, what was the subject matter? So we had the Judgment card, which is about like a self-evaluation. And then we have the first card of the question I asked about what were they discussing is strength. And it's like specifically inner strength. And strength card, another meaning for it is also influence. So the King of Wands was trying to influence Abby by talking about inner strength and how, okay, so we have the Ace of Swords underneath the King of Wands, and the Ace of Swords is about mental clarity and about having ideas, new ideas, and truthful insights. And so it's like he's influencing Abby by saying, you know, this religion or this spiritual thing that I'm into, it has given me, like, you know, it's helped me. It's given me mental clarity, and I'm like in control of my life, and I'm experiencing all these amazing things. You know, it's made me a stronger person. All of my extra responsibilities and burdens are less or no more because of this. There's excitement and so much knowledge that you can obtain. You know, you're your own spirit, you're your own person. You know, take a leap of faith. You've got nothing to lose. And the Fool card is representing Abby, and this is also another meaning of the Fool card is innocence, and that's right underneath the Devil card. She absolutely had an older influence. And I'm feeling like she was deliberately preyed upon because she wasn't as outgoing as Libby was. I think that person, the King of Wands upright, recognized the fact that I can manipulate her. if I do it in a right way, I can absolutely avoid her being suspicious of me. Okay, let's pull some whispers for the first row of cards. Can I get okay. We got murder. Paper trail. Portal 5D. Well, that doesn't really make sense, but oh, I see. Portal 5D is referring to the Hierophant, and actually that's interesting because that was like the third card. That was the next card in line for one of the, like I put each card like going down the line. So the third card is the Hierophant, and that's Portal 5D, and that's what he was trying to sell. He was trying to sell this energy as this energy, which is positive, high vibrations. And then yes came out. Thumbs up. Good to go. Like, no issues here. This is the right choice. Give me a card for the devil. Couple. So there was a lot, like, he was using crushing on her or making her think that he had a crush on her as to get her trust. All right, let's do this side. Can I have a card for strength? Yeah, healing and recovery and alignment. He's trying to sell all of these positive aspects. Down the rabbit hole. And that's for the Ace of Swords, which is truth and breakthrough. So what that's saying is that this is just the tip of the iceberg. There is a trail, a wealth of information that has to do with this case. Like, what has been put out there publicly is nothing compared to what the actual reality of the case is. All right, can I have a card for the 10 of Wands, please? Surveillance. Card for the Page of Swords. Meeting. Planning to meet somewhere. Oh, shit. Assassination. M for hire. Okay. I'm just gonna clean this up and start again. All right, so I shuffled, and now we're going to get on to the last half of the 24 hours before the crimes took place for Abby. All right. 5 cards that will tell us what Abby was doing, feeling, last half of the day before the murders. Interesting. We've got the 3 of Cups in reverse. So she was solitude, but being forced to conform to something. That is really sticking out to me. Especially what just came out with the 12-hour, what happened the 12 hours before this. Being influenced about some sort of spiritual path. Okay, let's keep going. Look at, again. Being forced to conform to some sort of spiritual path by a very dark energy. Okay. Page of Cups in reverse. She was doubting her intuition. She felt like something was really not right here. Emotional immaturity. She really didn't think that there was anything to be afraid of. Queen of Wands. Somebody who's really self-assured for themselves and confident. And this is different. So we had the Knight of Wands, or sorry, the King of Wands before. This is the Queen of Wands, so it's female energy. So there's 2 people at least involved influencing her. She was feeling off about it, but was getting reassured. And it's like, maybe she almost changed her mind about meeting. And then they had to introduce this Queen of Wands to convince her, to make her feel safer. Which is really sick because this is showing a level of strategy and premeditation that is really calculated. Like, wow. And we have strength again. This Queen of Wands was able to reinstate that level of trust and was able to influence her to go against her intuition. I'm going to pull from this deck. So we have bitterness. And anger, hurtful words, and resentment. I don't believe that there was any anger shown or hurtful words, but I can feel the resentment lingering in the background. It just feels really misplaced, you know? It doesn't feel like Abby deserved to have anybody resent her. So I don't know if it's like exactly resentment towards her personally or to these people if she represents something else that they resent. I'll see if I can explore that further down the road. Family. Weird. Confessions. Unveiling, coming clean, and messages. And that's on the Page of Cups. And what's interesting is the page back in the day, when there was like, you know, in the medieval times, the page was a messenger. One day. And the words on the bottom say, someday, somewhere, another time. Okay, let's get the last one. Open heart. Receptive, empathy, and vulnerable. And that's exactly... these are the reasons why they preyed on her, or because she's receptive, because she's kind, and all of that made her vulnerable to them. And then I'm looking at the bottom of the deck, and I've got pride, arrogance, ego, and stubborn. It's almost like these are things Abby was not, but maybe wish she kind of could be like. And that King of Wands possessed all of these. So he was really able to like influence her, being like, if you want to be more like me, or like the way you've always wished you were, my way can help you achieve that. My way. Why did I say it like that? Interesting. Okay. All right. What was their plan for for February 13th? What was their plan? What did he talk her into doing? Why were they going to that place? What was their plan for February 13th? Okay, we've got the Four of Pentacles in reverse. And this is about being generous. And it's like being open about something. Wanting to share something with another person, but not like an experience, more materialistic. It doesn't have, it has negative energy to it. It's not like, oh, I want to, you know, share my lunch with you, or I want to do something out of love. This isn't it. It's out of, there's something in it for the other party. This is being generous for a reason. This is showing like you're being generous, but really you have a hugely selfish intention behind it. We have the Seven of Wands in reverse, and this is admitting defeat, giving in, like no longer having the strength to say no anymore. So you just surrender. Okay, then we have the Five of Swords in reverse. And this is a reconciliation. So what did they plan for the 13th? He wanted to be generous and share something with her. Okay, so with the Seven of Swords, it's like he's been on her for a while to experience whatever he wanted her to experience, okay? And it's like, after all of this convincing and then getting someone else to convince her even more, it's like, that's what this card is representing. She finally was like, okay, fine. I'll try, I'll, you know, it's almost like, oh, I'll try anything once, but you twisted my arm, fine, like, and then it's like, and then this is representing, like, the sense of relief from the person that was trying to manipulate her. It was like peaceful to them because they're like, okay, I don't have to keep working hard to convince her anymore. Yeah, and then we have the Five of Wands in reverse, and this is conflict avoidance. Abby just was like, you know, a people pleaser, like, I'll just give in, so there's no issue. And I think she wanted to stop being bothered by the convincing, you know. It was starting to get annoying. Oh my gosh. Ten of Swords in reverse, or sorry, Ten of Swords upright. This is painful endings and being left to bleed out. And I'm sorry, that's exactly what happened to her. Like, exactly what happened to her. So that's what was planned for the 13th by this person. But she didn't realize that. But they did. They knew exactly why. Now, what was the reason they told her? They were like, what exactly did she have to be convinced of? What did Abby need convincing of? Weird. Okay, so we've got the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. This is about breaking traditions. And like, also there's a loss of an investment or some financial conflict with that card. That's strange. Okay, and then we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Another Pentacle card. So lack of reward, lack of growth. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. This is bad luck. Stuck in old karmic cycles. Star in reverse. A lack of faith. Okay, so then we have the Tower in reverse. This is making me feel okay. Let me just get a token and see if I should say what I'm going to say. So I've got 2 cups and nuts and bolts. Oh, sorry, 116. Celebration. 24. Core issues. Okay. Yeah. I believe what this row is telling me, and with the Hierophant and basically everything said so far, I believe that he was trying to show her some sort of witchcraft. And there have Norse religion called Odinism has been talked about in this case, and they it's a form of they practice witchcraft. There's no ways of that, like, it's just what they do. And it's like Abby needed to be convinced that she didn't really believe it. She didn't really believe that the spells worked or anything. And that's what they were trying to convince her of. So it's almost like seeing is believing. You know, and so with these cards, the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, the 7 of Pentacles in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, bad luck, like, the Star in reverse, loss of hope, and disconnection, mainly. It's like disconnection from source energy. She wanted all of that to change. Not realizing the real plan. Okay. Alrighty. So this is Abby's point of view, the 24 hours before February 13th. So I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to do another part to this video where we're going to be looking into Libby's 24 hours before the crime took place. And then on from there. Okay, so if you enjoyed this, please consider liking, subscribing. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. If you're familiar with the case, if you're not, whatever. I just love to hear from you. And yeah, stay tuned for the next part.